up the time, I'm going to do that one really quick, and then we'll have a chance to take care of some of the questions at that point. So sorry to all the contract haulers who are on the webinar. We will get to your questions. I just want to rush through the transfer processor facility so we can take all questions from scenarios 1 through 3 and try to have all that wrapped up by 10. All right, so transfer processing facility or operation. This is laid out in the requirements, section 18815.5 governs the reporting requirements for transfer processors. Section 18815.3b provides a list of facilities and operations that would be required to report as a transfer or processing facility or operation. So if you do 100 tons or more of reportable materials, and you have a solid waste facilities permit of any kind, chances are good that you would report as a transfer processing facility or operation. So much like all of the two prior scenarios we just discussed, you'll start by clicking the plus or create organization/site. That will bring up a blank form, very identical to the two we just went through, but assuming you just maybe join the call or something like that, we're going to just go through it once more. So you'll enter, for instance, let's just call it, again, let's go with John's MRF transfer station, because that was the one that we had used in the slide presentation. So if that's how your organization/site is known to folks, you would indicate as such in the organization/site name title. You would enter a good phone number to reach the organization at the organizational level. A good email contact for the person who most likely is going to oversee the reporting. I'm just going to press ahead and not enter those form fields, but if you have that information, we would urge you to do so. Let's just type in a hypothetical fake address, and let's say Sacramento. All right, we're going to check that it's the same as the physical address. I'm going to input a good phone number to reach the organization's primary contact. And that's my work phone number. All right, and then we click plus button for add reporting entity activity. And this time we're going to indicate that it's a transfer processor. So we'll call that John's MRF because that's how it's known to folks. And enter the Swiss number. I'm not going to do that, but we would urge you to do so and basically type in the name as it appears in Swiss or solid waste identification system. I'm not going to do that because if I type in something that doesn't correspond to it, it's going to basically send an angry email indicating that I did not provide the correct Swiss number. So if you do enter the Swiss number, please make sure it's the one that's associated with that facility. I'm going to hit save on that. Indicate that I'm the primary signature authority for this activity, and believe that satisfies all the requirements. So I'm going to hit save and wait patiently as it processes my input and decides whether or not to accept my registration. Okay, it looks like everything was successful and the organization was created. So if this was all that was going on the site, just the transfer processor, I've satisfied my obligations under RDRS to create the registration profile by April 30th. And as a transfer processor, I would need to start recording required information pursuant to RDRS, just like everyone else, on July 1, and I would the reporting module for transfer processors opens November 1st and is due to CalRecycle November 30th. So there's quite some time before I actually need to get in the system again and fill out any information pursuant to RDRS. So we'll be conducting training and outreach about exactly what information you would need to report as a transfer processor and how you would do so in the RDRS system. And those trainings are forthcoming within the next couple of months or so, so we can make sure that folks are up to speed on their requirements for this. Especially with regard to transfer processing facilities and operations. So I just wanted to make that clear that we're not going to be covering actually what information is required to report. We're only covering how to make your registration profile from the perspective of the 7 different reporting entity types that are obligated to report in our DRS. All right, it's about 10 o'clock, so I think we have a time for maybe a couple of questions very briefly.
So the bulk of the questions we have right now, there's 2 of them regarding editing on the details tab after you've entered the information, and that the editing feature is not yet available, or it's grayed out.
That's correct, and it does appear that there that functionality in terms of being able to edit, for whatever reason, is currently unavailable at this time. I know that for a fact that it was available at least a week or 2 ago, so that's something that we've I believe already brought to ITS's attention. They're working on a way to re-enable that functionality. It was probably related to a maintenance issue going on with our data system. So, any people who have encountered difficulties with editing on the site, I really apologize for that. This has been brought to our attention. We're working as hard as we can to make sure that the full functionality is available to folks. So if you're not able to do that, try again, maybe like later this afternoon or possibly tomorrow, and we'll see if we haven't addressed that. And if for whatever reason it's still not popping up in about a day or so, please reach out to me directly, not on my personal email, but through RDRS at calrecycle.ca.gov, and we'll be able to provide some technical support for you. Thank you for the question.
Yeah, just as an additional, you can also call the phone number in the login, and that's my phone number, and I deal with a kind of technical questions. It was working yesterday. I just talked to someone on the phone, so I don't know if it's because of a Stevens access or so. Yeah, if you have the issue come up, then feel free to call us or email. But we're definitely, you should be able to edit it, change your organization name, and change the other info there on the screen normally.
So here's one. When you go to the CalRecycle website and enter your pass, will there be a new choice to click on RDRS registration to get started? Will RDRS be listed along with the other current programs, or is there another method of access? So that's what you see when you log into your web pass.
So currently, you're not able to go to the RDRS system from, I guess, the WebPass area of the website. Just rest assured that when you do create the WebPass, you'll want to go to the RDRS webpage itself, and there is a link to sign into RDRS. And we're working with the webmaster to make sure that the RDRS system is as visible as possible in as many places on our website as possible, and fully integrated into the other data components that we have in the system. So if it needs to be added to the list of databases that's on the WebPass part, we can certainly add that in. But the procedure, as I laid out, is to create the WebPass and then type in the WebPass email that you use to register in the RDRS sign-in page. At that point, you'll be greeted with the home page, which I'll pull up right here. And this is essentially what it looks like as soon as you log in for the first time, except you won't have any of these facilities or operations listed. I think we'll take Larry Sweetser here.
Yes, Larry Sweetser on behalf of rural counties. In order to, on the registration, a number of solid waste facilities, transfer stations, landfills are owned, and the permit holder is a local government agency. But many of them have a private contractor running the site. So do you expect both to register, or can one or the other, can that be passed on to the private contractor to register and do the maintenance? Or
yeah, great question, Larry. So the person who would set up the registration is the operator of the site, not the owner. So if that has been contracted, it would be that individual.
Yeah, so some permits have the government agency as the operator, and they have a private contractor running it, so the agency would register. But if they have a private contractor listed as the operator on the permit, then the contractor would register.
Yes, they would.
I think your question is, are you asking more toward, like, can you have another contact kind of manage the information? Because we're going to go over that. You can actually, the person who creates the registration, they're the primary contact, but then they can add contacts and then set permissions. And we're going to go over that at the end.
No, that wasn't the question. It was the initial.
Yeah, can it be delegated to the contractor to do it? Yeah, it can. Sure.
As the primary instead of the jurisdiction.
Oh, absolutely, if that's how it's been delegated.
Steve, you mentioned there were, quote, 7 reporting entity types. Is a facility that receives PET bales and processes them into either pellet or flake, does that fall under the transfer processor category, or where are we in this presentation relative to that type of a processor?
Thank you for keeping us on track, Mr. Chandler. That will be covered 1020 to 1030 Scenario 5, recycling composting facility or operation. I interpret your question to be about a clean recycling facility that doesn't have a solid waste facilities permit, correct?
Right, but we sometimes refer to ourselves as a processor. So I just wanted to make sure I was knowing what drop-down menu we're looking at for that.
Yeah, it would be recycling and composting facility, not transfer processor.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, folks.